Hello, different type of video today. We're gonna do a remake. I usually do covers of artists, recreation of artists, but thought remaking's a good skill to have. It teaches you a lot about sound design and arrangement. You can really find cool little tricks that other artists use by having the audio file in your project and just trying to remake that track. So today we're doing Petit Biscuit, Hang On, from his new album Parachute. So let's go. Headphones on and we're in. So we got the project here, done the whole remake. We're sitting at, oh my god, oh my god, dude, oh my god. Okay, 118.980. I don't know why, but when I had the track in, that's just the tempo that fit best. Let's dive into this intro. The first thing we want to look at is the verse melody. So this is just a piano. Now this melody is going to be used again in the drop. So this is really the foundation for the track. We'll notice that you can hear a sort of clicking sound out the sides. I've made it really wide. This is this little... What is this? It's just an organic percussion shot. And I've just copy and pasted the MIDI into that. And for the piano, I've also doubled up the layers. So we've got a low and a high. So that makes it nice and full and a nice big sound. For the mixing, just a bit of reverb, OTT, and on the click, just some stereo enhancer, some reverb, and cutting the lows off of that click sound. Next sound is the bass. So this sound is just a simple serum preset, super easy. Just get saw, down 2, the other saw, up, down 1, and unison 8 on each, and a bit of detune, and then just put a filter on it. What this automation clip is here is just the filter opening up. So the cutoff is just being adjusted to just make it a little bit more aggressive. To fade into the second part of this intro, I sampled this from the actual song. It's this little vocal fill. So I sort of isolated that out with a bit of EQ. Just cutting it off. OTT, reverb to make it fit in my mix nicely. And then we go into the second part of the intro. Start with a kick and this downlifter. We have our bass and our piano. What's added is these strings. Super nice there. Spitfire Audio Labs. This is free. I only just discovered this the other day. It's got a ton of nice orchestral instruments. I'm using strings long. And last but not least, we have this sort of riser. So this is actually quite a unique part of this build up towards the drop. I had to put in, I couldn't just find a sample, so I just made it. It's a singular C note. I've got this in Serum. All I'm using is the noise and I'm automating the pitch to create that back and forth sort of sound. I've got the volume automations here to make it pulse. And I'm also automating the cutoff open on the EQ filter to make it into an actual riser. Let's start off by explaining how these drums work. Now this is like sort of a different style to what you're used to with Petit Biscuit, almost like flume drums. We'll start off with a kick and snare. So you'll notice that on some of the snare hits, we have these rapid snares like here. Just adding a cool like sort of scraping effect to some of the snares. Add in some hi-hats. And a nice downlifter. Now we're going to go into our synth, our drop synth. This is big for the first drop. So it starts off with a part cut out of the section of the drop before the actual drums hit. Notice that this is very similar to the piano intro. So this sound is one that I made myself, and as I said in the intro, it's good to do remakes because you learn a lot about sound design by just trying to recreate a lead, a bass, whatever it is. It really helps you in the long run because you just try new things that you might not have tried before. So this is actually quite a simple sound. So obviously it's a saw and a saw again. We got a slow attack 260. It sort of creates that delayed like whomp. It's just in the effects, hyper, no dimension, bit of chorus, and some distortion. And then on my mixing chain, just cutting the low and a bit of the top, adding some more in with the OTT, and just some reverb. So actually not a hard sound to recreate. I'm going to put the main presets in the description, so go ahead and get them. FLP is going to be up on Patreon, so make sure you're subscribed to me on that. I'm definitely getting demonetized for this video, so support me there. It means a lot. So the bass for the first drop. Now there's actually two basses within here. So we start off with an 808. Some little high ones in there. So I just used a sample 808. Now in the second part of the drop, after we've gone through one part of the melody, we have a saw bass. And I kept the 808 as a layer there. On the saw bass, I cut the sub off just so the 808 could ring through and not get all muddy trying to compete with the saw bass sub. And this saw bass is literally just a saw like I had in the intro, but with the filter taken off. And to end the first drop, we have the sample again. This break is super simple again. We're having our bass line using the same bass from the intro with a slightly different pattern. Got our kick and exhaust. Got our strings as we move towards the build up of the second drop. And also we have our riser. Another little good bit of ambience that's added is this singular piano note that's just playing an A the whole way through, all the way up to the drop. And now we need vocals. So I actually sang this, and I'm not a singer at all. Hang on, hang on, I can wash your pain away. You won't have to press replay. So I channeled my inner Petit Biscuit to come up with that vocal, and I actually used a little hack. Newtone is actually an insane tool that's a stock plugin for FL Studio. It allows you to just put in your audio file and it comes up on the piano roll like this. And what you can do, you can use this little variation knob here, and that sort of auto tunes it. It'll keep it on the note. You can right click on your audio bits and it'll just click them onto the grid where they should be, and it'll make you sound good if you're a bad singer like me. I also put a limiter as a compressor on my vocal, some reverb, just EQ'd it a bit more, just pulled out some bad frequencies, and then put some compression on it at the end. And all that just builds up to the second drop. So we start the drop again with this little snippet from the synth. And we have a slightly different synth this time because we're making way for a bunch of new sounds to come in. This reminds me of one of his older songs. I can't remember it at the moment, but we're sort of chopping and changing from the main sound and having all these other little snippets added in. So here's the main synth. So yeah, we got gaps. So lots of gaps that will be filled with other sounds. The first sound we have is this little pitched bend, little squeaker sounding thing. You'll notice the pitch bend automation there is automating down here. This is just a preset. I don't think I really changed it up much. Second sound, we go a sort of stabby sort of bass. And again, this is another preset I used. I think I changed it a little bit just to make it sound good. And so what I'm automating on the second one is the quarter time, which is like sort of how the note bends each time it changes. So if you have more, it's going to bend more. So I'm automating that up to get more bend on the end notes. Sound 3. Sound 3 is one that I'm really not happy with. I tried for so long to try and get this right, and it just never came. So that might sound terrible to you. It sounds pretty bad to me, but I mean, it fits alright. On the second half of the drop, we have this little sound again, which is going. For the second sound in the second half of the drop, we have just a synth that's sort of pitch bending up, sort of got that side chain womp womp womp. And then we end again with my most hated sound of this whole project. Anyway, moving on. This drop we have similar drum pattern. This time we have the 808 the whole way through. Again, hitting on every kick. We have the hi-hats the whole way through. Now, a real essential part, this is like a Petit Biscuit signature sample, is this lady. It's like a lady breathing, and that actually adds some cool like variance to the whole track. It's almost like a percussive sort of sweep. And we have our vocal fill in the middle of the drop. And don't forget to have these little high-pitched octave higher 808 sounds. Forgot to mention on this second sound in the second half of the drop, it's got this little audio sample. I don't even know what he's saying. It could be something in French. I have no idea, but it's sort of just off the left side of your ear. I did my own take on that. Just made a weird little vocal fill. Subscribe. So yeah. Subscribe, boys. And then we end with just a sample. I just stole that from the actual song, and we're all done.
play. Memories falling from the trees. You let me wash your grave. Now you forgot who you've been.